At Emily's church, First African Presbyterian Church, there was a very large interest in pursuing education. It wasn't just at First African Presbyterian. It happened at Mother Bethel. It happened at black churches in New York, black churches in Washington, D.C. Educate yourself. I mean, that was coming from Frederick Douglass. Get education. Once you get educated, then you can pull yourselves up. You can make a better life for yourself. No door is closed to you once it's open. I mean, I think Frederick Douglass was one of the main people who talked about living a life before you learn how to read, and how the world is a darker place if you don't know how to read. And he would talk about his stories, because he lectured, and she would go to his lectures, and she talks about going to Fred Douglass lectures. And one of the things, the stories he would talk about is how he would trade bread. If someone would read him a letter, he would go out in the streets, and white children would be out playing, and he would draw a letter in the sand, and he would say to a white child, "What is that letter? Can you say it? Can you sound it out for me? And if you do that, I'll give you a piece of my bread." So he was trading food for education. And he said that once he learned how to read, then his hunger and his desire for a better life took over at that point. And pastors would take that same kind of ideology into the pulpit. I mean, before Reverend Jonathan Gibbs came to be the pastor of First African, it was Reverend William T. Cato, who was a huge advocate for education, not just attending school, but self-education, always finding times to read and to think and to grow and to look for a way to make your life better. That's what Emily came of age under. So her desire for education was probably a seed planted long before she began school, what we know of in 1863. She was educated. Her brother Alfred was educated, and he was a part of the Philadelphia Colored Regiments. Her sister Elizabeth was educated. Her sister Nellie was educated. Her father was educated. And he wrote letters back and forth to Emily. So she came from an educated family in free black Philadelphia.